Oh my God, Ryan! There's a giant anaconda over your shoulder.
Oh, yeah, it is. You're right.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 1. This is Basic Elementary Essential Wrestling Podcast. My name is Karl. You're sponsored and powered, as always, by the Eastern Observer. You can taste the power. Back again this Tuesday. Hope everyone's chiming with us. Anyone have eyes on James Wheeler? He was last big relaunch. I guess James, maybe he's out swimming again or something. He always tells us when he's swimming. Ever notice that? Anyway, we have a fun show with us today. On the bottom part of our screen, as always, the first ever PWP champion, the living legend, John DeConnie. John, how are things today?
Not bad. Beautiful day here in Jersey. We're talking wrestling. All things are good.
I know, right? It was a little windy today, though. It's okay. Next to him on the bottom part of the screen.
And number 4, John Smith.
That never gets old. I keep forgetting that you have that clip.
Yeah, Alex Anthony. By the way, I did show him the video like on air with that. He was happy. He saw your name and he's like, "Oh my God, is this every time?" I'm like, "Yeah, you said it every time this time." So, and he actually still is working for the Jets. So we're still on the Alex Anthony trail. How are things going with you today, pal?
Things are great. Ready to talk some wrestling.
There you go. And on the top part of the screen with a huge anaconda over his shoulder, Dark Order member, I can't remember, was it 57, I think? Ryan told me it's about time.
Yeah, I think that's right. About 57. That's right. Glad to be here. Glad to talk about some wrestling. It's a nice day here in Florida as well.
Oh, it's. Do you ever have bad days in Florida?
It rains a lot. When it
I know it rains on and off. It's actually, you can see it coming to distance, which is fun. John Smith, I did also forgot to put this up for you, just so everybody knows. On today's episode, it was Ladies' Night in NXT 2.0. The 20th annual Slammiversary got its main event and an historic knockouts match booked last week on Impact. There was a number 1 contenders match with some backstage controversy last night on Raw. Gary Mehaffy is with us to join to discuss the NXT UK.
What the hell is this
episode?
What the hell is that?
I had no idea what you were talking about when you said
it. He has no soul, and I'm like, okay, well, they'll get it eventually. Let me just go. I'm just letting you know what's...
It's me or Cody. You have to pick right now.
Okay, if his head wasn't blocking out the sun, I'd bring it down right now. It's right there.
Where was I? Getting at the 200th episode of NXT UK, and the loser leaves NXT UK Championship rematch. That was a match. That was incredible. We make our picks for this week's upcoming shows, presented by Ryan Joy and MillionsToBellTime.com, and sponsored as always by ProWrestlingPick'em.com. Play against your friends. Play against the universe. Hey, and guys, she'll like it too. We're going to main event our show with the history-making Tag Team Championship unification match this Friday on SmackDown. Last week, I kind of dropped the ball, a little rusty. I was off for 6 weeks, probably even more than that. Who knows? Here were last week's the Raw roll-ups from last week that we didn't bring to your attention at the end of the show. Tony Storm, Riho, Shayna Baszler on the positive end for once on the Raw roll-up side. Then we got 3 on pay-per-views with Taya Valkyrie, Cody Rhodes, and Mad Cat Moss all winning via the Raw roll-up. So here are our official standings heading into this week's action. Raw with a 1 roll-up lead on AEW. Impact, SmackDown. SmackDown's got that hidden gem. I hinted about that last week. I will get to that if I remember. I have it on my notes to make sure we do the Raw roll-up standings at the end of the show. SmackDown's got a little bit of a hidden gem. Look for them to make a little surge at some point this year. We're going to curtain jerk the show with Jokers being wild this Wednesday on Dynamite in the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. But first on Rampage, before we get to the tournament, big TNT championship match, Ryan Joy. SCU exploded. Just like the Mega Powers.
You said earlier in this show that we were going to main event this show with the big tag team title unification match.
Yes.
But I think in this case, Mark Henry would say you're debuting with the main event, because right before this match started, he said, "It's time for the main event."
Well, that's what we're leading off with. This is big. We're going to see your bookend with the biggest match from last week into the biggest match for the upcoming week. It's programming, right? There's a method to the madness.
The only reason I bring this up is because I think that main event Mark Henry segment was critical to understanding what was happening here. Scorpio Sky said, "I'm going to face Frankie Kazarian by myself. Dan Lambert, Ethan Page, you take the night off." Well, Frankie Kazarian came out of nowhere. He's got the crossface chicken wing on Scorpio Sky. It looks like Frankie's going to pull out an upset here and defeat Scorpio Sky, become the new TNT champion. But, of course, Men of the Year, Ethan Page, Dan Lambert come down. Dan Lambert distracts the referee. Ethan Page hits Frankie Kazarian with the belt. We have a TKO. Scorpio Sky pins Frankie Kazarian, and then they all attack Kazarian after the match. So SCU fully exploded at this point.
Yeah, right. Jeez. Another title defense. Scorpio wants to bring relevance back to the belt. He wants to be a fighting champion, and I guess a win is a win, right? And it's really what it comes down to.
Sammy Guevara and Ty Conti were there at ringside, so the Paige Van Zandt stuff must be coming soon.
Yeah. We had a trios match also on Rampage, Mr. DeConnie.
Yes, that kicked off the night. Well, the match didn't exactly kick off the night. See, the Butcher, the Blade, and Mark Quinn went into that match with a whole bunch of momentum, because just prior to the bell ringing for that match, Chris Jericho would announce the Butcher and the Blade as his sports entertainers of the week for their physical transformation, getting all shredded. So, I mean, come on. Good stuff right there. But then they had to go and face the reunited Death Triangle. So things didn't work out all that well for them. They entertained us for a good solid 10 plus minutes. But in the end, Penton Phoenix would hit the fear factor on Quen. He didn't let out that little bitch scream that he does, which I missed. That really makes me laugh every single time. But Pac would follow with the Black Arrow to get the 1, 2, 3. And then we had some post-match shenanigans where Death Triangle was celebrating. Lights went out. Lights back up. House of Black. They're on the apron. Oh, are we going to get it? Are we going to get the brawl right now? Lights out again. Lights back up. They disappeared. Just mind games. They're just messing with them. It's coming down the line. We'll get there, but not quite yet. Yeah,
they're just showing them that they can. That's it. We can do this. We're not going to do it now. We can do this. So, again, Malachi Black. He's a thinking man's wrestler. I appreciate him. Sean Spears defeated Bear Boulder with a C4. Very impressive by Mr. Spears. Apparently, he doesn't miss a day in the gym being able to put a C4 on Bear Boulder. I know Ryan Joy brought that to our attention. Very impressive. Yeah, it's good to see those on Dynamite again, the 10s. That was fun. Yeah. So we're going to go right now to there you go. the Owen Hart Foundation, the women's tournament. It kicked off Wednesday. We'll get back to that in a second. On Friday night, the women's tournament, we had Ruby Soho, Ruby Riho, right? This was the tag team that I've been wanting to have happen. But they went at it. Ruby got the win after the Blade Runner to advance in the tournament. We also had some news that Hikaru Shida, who receives 0 TV time in AEW, so she had to go to the Indies to get some work. Unfortunately, she got injured on these Indies. And now that she's now the one time she can actually go on national TV to compete, she can't. So Mark Sterling thought Red Velvet would advance via forfeit. TK had other ideas, having Shivani announce that Chris Statlander will replace Hikaru Shida on in the tournament, and they will get at it on Friday night on Rampage in the Owen Hart tournament. So, Ryan Joy is our senior AEW correspondent. Before we get to the brackets, who do you got in this one?
It's a tough one because they made a kind of a big deal out of Chris Statlander coming back and, Stat is back and all this stuff. But, Red Velvet and Kiera Hogan, I think, are getting a little minor push by association with Jade Cargill right now. So I'm going to go Red Velvet.
John DeConnie.
I'm going to go with Statlander just because if you follow along on social media, Hikaru Shida was not real pleased to find out that she was injured because apparently it was news to her. So I'm thinking if they put Statlander in there, it's to get her to move on through. So I'm going to go with Statlander in this one.
Yeah, she's made comments via the Twitter machine, John Smith, about sitting back and catering, doing nothing. Longest reigning AEW World Women's Champion, right? I don't think Britt Baker beat her record, right? She's she's got AEW through that pandemic era, so it's a little disheartening to see her the one time she had to go to the Indies to get work.
Yeah, well, there's only 3 hours of television and you have 150 people on the roster. It's pretty hard to get everybody their FaceTime,
Yep.
I'm gonna go with I'll go with Red Velvet on this one.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept. We don't know who. I guess I probably would have picked Shida or maybe, I don't know. I'll go with Red Velvet as well. I mean, there's no reason for her not to advance. Statlander wasn't supposed to be. Does Statlander have a qualifying match, Ryan?
She did not have a qualifying match.
Okay, so she just showed up. Yeah.
But just a clarification, Shida said she wasn't able to re-enter the country in time. So
okay. I'm just going off what she said on Twitter. Maybe that's something else. I don't know.
Rather than looking at what she said on Twitter.
Gotcha. Also in the women's tournament here are the brackets. Toni Storm, she defeated Jamie Hayter with a spike pile driver to advance. So we got Toni Storm, we got Ruby Soho. If they advance, Ruby's going to get the winner of Red Velvet, and my question mark is Chris Statlander. Britt Baker and the Joker will be this Wednesday on Dynamite. You know how he got those scars?
Blackpool Combat Club.
That's it. John Smith, we'll go reverse order here. I guess who do we think is the Joker or Harley Quinn? Maybe in this case, maybe a better reference, but the Good Doctor. What are we doing here?
I can't even think of who the Joker would be. I think no matter what, Britt Baker is winning the match, though.
Okay. John DeConnie?
Yeah, I mean, if the if the rumor comes to pass that it winds up being the Garganos as the two Jokers, then I'm sorry for Candice, but I can't see who you would bring in and then allow them to beat Britt Baker. So I'm going to go with the Good Doctor here.
Ryan Joy, could it be Sasha Banks?
No. 100% no. But Ember Moon's the only other person I could think of that's out there. But I really don't know. It's interesting. I feel like this is going to be the lesser of the two. I think the men's Joker is probably going to be the bigger surprise. I would go Britt Baker. It really feels like we're going Britt Baker and Ruby Soho in the finals here.
I got a Toni Storm. You got to say I'm going to go with Britt Baker as well. Is that even if it is Candice, it'll just be the fun value. It's going to be the same on the men's, and we'll get to that in a second. The men's brackets. The Owen Hart tournament started and main evented Dynamite this past Wednesday. In the main event, Jeff Hardy defeated Darby Allin after Darby hit the coffin drop. Jeff kicked out of it into a crucifix, a roll-up pin. You can take the wrestler off Raw, but you can't take the Raw out of the wrestler. Good work by Jeff Hardy, ruining everybody's dream match with a BS ending. Good job. Crazy match. We were discussing in pre-production. Those two are probably going to kill themselves in the ring. And then if you add Sammy Guevara to the mix, that's just and then the curtain jerk, what started the show, Adam Cole defeated Dax Hardwood with a sharpshooter. I should have maybe posed this question if we were going to get any sharpshooters in this tournament. And Adam Cole came out swinging with one. So shout out to him. Adam Cole, Jeff Hardy advance. We'll get to them in a second because they're wrestling on Wednesday night too. But here are the updated men's brackets. And the other side of the bracket will be taking place. We're going to have Samoa Joe. Actually, no, I have Kyle O'Reilly first. I'm sorry. We got Kyle O'Reilly. Ray Phoenix will save the big prediction for the second match. John Smith. These are 2 year guys. You got Ray Phoenix, who was the brother of your best friend. And then you got the Undisputed Era. I know you were really never a big fan of KOR as a singles competitor, but, you know, they're still using the phrase undisputed. So I kind of feel like that's still your jurisdiction.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I was never a fan of Kyle O'Reilly's though. I'm gonna go with him in this one though. I think they're gonna give him the win, although I would prefer Ray Phoenix were to win.
I kind of feel like this is a little bit of a toss-up, Brian.
Yeah, I'm thinking Kyle O'Reilly is going to win here because I think on the other side, Adam Cole is going all the way, and I think the final is going to be Samoa Joe versus Adam Cole. So I think you have a little setup with Samoa Joe versus Kyle O'Reilly in the semis. Kind of feeds into the final a little bit.
John Nicani.
All right, I'll be the dissenter again here and just say Ray Phoenix is going to win because that's probably what should happen if you were to take this match in a vacuum. So it'll be a good match regardless, but Ray Phoenix.
It should be a great match. We have two contrasting styles. KOR, he's very, very grounded wrestler, and Ray can't sit still. So flying everywhere. So I think it'd be fun. If Kyle O'Reilly gets him on the mat, I think Ray's going to be in trouble. Not saying Ray's a bad mat technician or submission wrestler, but that's kind of what Kyle O'Reilly does. So I'm gonna go KOR with this one as well. The Undisputed Elite 2 wins in this tournament. And then we have Samoa Joe versus the Joker. We do not know what it is. Our current Ring of Honor television champion. I know that what my own thing is, I do not like to report news or rumors. That's what we have SpongeBob here for. But I can take one name off the table, probably a very popular name people were gunning for and wanting to see in this situation. But according to Ringside News, it will not be Brutus the Barber Beefcake, as he has no plans to appear in AEW.
Yeah, neither do I.
Probably the most random thing I've ever seen in scrolling through Facebook.
You know, Minutes to Bell Time doesn't ever have a story like that, but if I don't know, I could come up with a million stories like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
in case anybody was wondering, Ringside News reports that Brutus Beefcake has no plans to appear in AEW. So,
content for days.
Unfortunately, I mean, I guess Ryan, I couldn't use this joke last week. I didn't even load it. God, oh, yes, I did. There we go. Pick me a guy who would be the Joker.
Oh, shoot. I see Brutus Beefcake's name. So
I don't think it could be. I can't really see. Pick me a guy off the.
Yeah, bottom right. So my heart says Cesaro, right? The whole Ring of Honor connection and all that stuff. I think that would be like the best get out there. I know Johnny's Gargano's out there, and there's a million people out there, but if they're trying to build up ROH again, I think that's like the best get they could get. So that'll be my hope there. But I think Samoa Joe's going to go through no matter what. So Samoa Joe, unless they beat Samoa Joe in this round, just so that they can set up a title match. But Joe's already busy with Jay Lethal.
Exactly. Like Jay Lethal is a wild card, and he's pissed off right now, John Nicani. He's a very, very angry Jersey guy here. Code of honor, if that still applies, they're not allowed to interfere in his. I know it's not a Ring of Honor match, but if they're going after a Ring of Honor title, they kind of.
That's just the pure championship. All bets are off in the other ones.
Elias, Gary's chiming in. He wants Elias to be the Joker.
That would be fantastic. Yeah, this is although it's very hard to pick against Samoa Joe. I get the feeling that he's going to, it's not going to be a clean finish, but like Ryan said, this is the spot where maybe the bigger, more exciting person is coming in, and therefore you can get them to move on and beat Joe by having him screwed over by that 3-man group that Jay Lethal and Sanjay Dutt and whoever that big giant is have formed. And therefore, you can then break them off to their own feud, and Joe's bounced out of the tournament, but without looking too terribly bad because he got screwed over. So give me the Joker in this one.
Yeah, good point.
John Smith, go back to Ryan with Cesaro. There is Canadian ties there with Tyson Kidd, and Cesaro inherited the sharpshooter from him, and there's some connections there.
Yeah, I'd like to see him be the one. Does it have to be somebody debuting? Is the Joker usually a debuting person?
Sometimes it's a return, like when Hangman Page won the ladder match, he was the Joker.
I was thinking of Miro. He was the only other person I could think of.
Ooh.
So
Miro would be good.
To Miro versus Joe. That'd be insane.
Yeah, it feels like that's a marquee match. Like don't like put that in the main event somewhere.
I'm going to go a little off kilter here. I'm going to bring in Gary Mehaffy for about 5 seconds because he's got inside information on Gary. Any talks to Harry Smith here?
I did ask, and I was just given has he been mentioned? All right, okay. It was kind of brick batted, as we say, so knock straight back. So I don't know. I still think he may be, but I haven't nothing official. So
okay, because that's the fit, the Hart Foundation fit. So see, maybe Harry Smith has an option. Now, if it is Harry, do you see Harry beating Samoa Joe?
No, no, I don't. I would see Joe go, although I think it would be silly not to bring in somebody like that and not put him over. But I couldn't see him going the whole way with him. But I couldn't see him taking it. But
yeah, if they bring in Harry, he's going to have to beat Joe. And I think what John DeConnie said, kind of sets it up, right? Satnam Singh comes down and beats up Joe to kind of get that person through.
I was thinking maybe like Harry could present the trophy along with Martha Hart. I got a little bit of a bone to pick with here. I never thought I'd ever have a bone to pick with Martha Hart here, but completely ripping off Britt Baker. Who the hell is she to call herself a doctor? All right, Gary, we'll see you in a little bit, pal. Thanks for chiming in. Okay, and then as we saw in the brackets, and I mentioned last week, Jeff Hardy, Adam Cole, they did advance. They are in the semifinals, and they're not going to waste any time. They're going to get at it. A match I didn't know I wanted to see until they presented it. John Smith, Adam Cole, Jeff Hardy.
Oh, it's got to be Adam Cole. It's got to be.
All right, John DeConnie.
I agree with John Smith. It's just that simple. It's, Hardy is going to give you a good match, but if it's not Adam Cole here, I will be stunned.
Brian Joy.
Adam Cole, baby. It's got to be.
Okay, so consensus. I think we were three of us had Kyle O'Reilly, Samoa Joe, we were all in on. Adam Cole, all in on. Britt Baker, all in on. And I believe Red Velvet were all in on. Okay, so is this maybe, hopefully, maybe a little bit of a surprise here going forward. Going forward with the rest of Dynamite and other things that are non-tournament related, MJF contract stipulations. How many lashes was it? Crowd got in on that. Well, that was good. Steel cage versus Shawn Spears with MJF as the referee if he can survive the lashes. And if he loses the match with MJF, which I'm assuming is going to be a double or nothing, Wardlow will never be allowed to sign with AEW forever. Will Vince McMahon send somebody to sabotage this match, John DeConnie?
Hopefully.
So we got 10 lashes here. This is the first step. I'm assuming the cage match will be next week if Wardlow can survive. 10 lashes from MJF, who, as we predicted, walked into a love fest at UBS Arena in Long Island. Ryan Joy, this is the side of MJF we don't see. He was, I'm better than you. And then he put the microphone out to the crowd, and the crowd's like, you like babyface Max here? Or
no.
It's weird, right? It was really weird. Yeah, it's
so Wardlow has to take these 10 lashes, then he has to beat Shawn Spears in a cage with MJF as the referee. Those are the two things he's got to do. But this week it's just take the lashes.
Yep.
So
Ryan, we had it for the first time in a while. Actually, I shouldn't say it in a while. I guess he has had some title defenses recently. I guess I just didn't know. Maybe they're on Elevation or Dark that I wouldn't know. But we had an FTW championship match.
Yeah, Ricky Starks defending the FTW championship against
Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan? What about Joe Rogan?
I don't know. That was weird.
Okay. Anyway.
What's that?
I have no idea. So anyway, Jungle Boy and Ricky Starks had a match here. So Jungle Boy, deep in the match, rolled up Ricky Starks, and Al, it looked like, I mean, he had a visual pin for like 10 seconds over Ricky Starks. It looked like you were going to be marking a notch on the AEW Raw roll-up chart for the Jungle Boy here, but Swerve was at ringside, trying to counteract the involvement of Team Taz. A lot of confusion. The referee is outside dealing with Swerve, so no pin for Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy lets go of the roll-up. Ricky Starks almost immediately hits Rochambeau, gets the pinfall. Then you have Keith Lee come out. You have a stare down between Team Taz and Swerve and Lee. And you got Luchasaurus out there. He just goes like that. Yeah. And then you got Christian Cage standing in the ring. Jungle Boy is all upset. He did not win the FTW championship. He's got his arms over the ropes, his head down. Christian Cage is standing in the center of the ring, looking at Jungle Boy longingly. And you think just maybe Christian Cage was going to go all edge on him and turn heel. But he just puts his arm around him and says it's going to be okay, and we're going to push that heel turn down the road a couple of months.
That's it. And Jungle Boy was in kill switch position. He did, he had his back turn. That would have been perfect. But yeah, now we'll save it. No reason to do it now. But yeah, I know Team Taz, specifically Starks and Hobbs, they are the number one contenders, right? And then I think that if you might want to throw in, because they got the feud going with Swerve and Lee. We might have a 3-team triple threat tag title match going at Double or Nothing, which will not disappoint. Yep. The Jericho Appreciation Society victory speech was interrupted by Jon Moxley. And before we go forward with this, I don't know if you guys know, going back to last week, not last night on Raw, but last week on Raw with Kevin Owens and his brother Ken Owens. I know WWE does not like to mention other people who are not in WWE in the universe, but I'm not sure if you guys know that there is actually a third Owen brothers, Kip Owens. He's actually a security guard for AEW right there on the left, walking Jon Moxley to the ring. So it's good to see Kip Owens get some work as well. So Jericho was interrupted by Moxley and then the rest of the Blackpool Combat Club, and then Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz as they beat down the Jericho Appreciation Society. Regal with a shot in on Jericho as well. They're going to have a face-to-face here, and I'm assuming the number one topic of conversation it was what happened leading up to their match at WrestleMania 17 when Jericho took a piss in Regal's teapot. So old feelings die hard, I guess. I'm sure Regal has not forgot about that. I think he said that it tasted a little tart. So Jericho pissed in Regal's tea. I'm not sure if you guys remember that.
I'm fully aware. That's why Regal's nose has been scrunched up like that
exactly.
for the last 20 years.
It was bleeding constantly after that. That was it. We also had a match with Tony Nese and Danhausen. Danhausen's in-ring AEW debut. How about that? Tony Nese got the win after a running knee in about 5 seconds. This is the worst AEW debut ever. And my second question is...
I know.
That's fair. And my second question is Danhausen buried now? Like, is this he can't come back in 5 seconds? He's buried, Ryan. Just shovel. No. Sting didn't even get to him yet.
He's not here. He's going to have a big match on the pay-per-view. No, the pay-per-view pre-show anyway.
It's still, but yeah, you know me with this conversation. You know the whole thing is stupid. Danhausen's buried. Buriedhausen. Buriedhausen.
Did Cody take the golden shovel with him when he left, though? So, I don't know.
Nese continued attacking Danhausen post-match. Hook came out. They sent Hook. Came out to thwart the attack. Finally got the handshake. And Hook House is official. And as Ryan said, that will be the tag team match. On the buy-in for W Nothing, it will be Hook and Danhausen versus Tony Nese and Smart Mark Sterling getting into the ring for the first time. I had to create him on ProWrestlingPick'em.com. Never thought I'd have to see that.
You know what's interesting is Mark Sterling's walking around with a neck brace and everything right now. So
yeah,
maybe he won't be cleared to compete and he'll have another stooge. We'll see.
I wouldn't be shocked if Jade Cargill took his place. It would be Nese and Jade versus Hookhausen and yeah. And then we had a match, and then CM Punk gotta show us. CM Punk, just like how MJF is cheered on Long Island. CM Punk, from his antics the last time there, he's now booed on Long Island. And he decided to throw the extra log on the fire by wearing a hockey jersey for the Antichrist of Long Island, public enemy number one, John Tavares, former New York Islanders captain, where, for those of you who do not follow hockey and know the story, John Tavares' contract was expiring at the end of the season. Now, I'm going to stay. I'm an Islander. I love Long Island. I love the people here. And then the next day, you woke up and goddamn, and he's showing a picture of himself as a child in Toronto Maple Leafs pajamas as he signs with his childhood favorite team, and completely telling the Islanders and Long Island to go F off. So, kind of had the last laugh on that one. We've been pretty successful other than this season, and John Tavares and the Toronto Maple Leafs continue to be the Dallas Cowboys of professional hockey, losing again. I believe this is their 5th consecutive Game 7 in the past 5 years. So,
Wow, nice.
apparently Toronto caught on fire. Anyway, CM Punk then had a match. He defeated John Silver with a buckshot lariat. John DeConnie.
Yes, Punk kind of manhandled Johnny Hungy for a little while there, and then found himself out on the apron, and Hangman was at the commentary table, so Punk stared him down before delivering his signature move, the buckshot lariat, and getting the 1-2-3. Afterwards, Hangman came down to the ring, got right in Punk's face. Punk reminded him, none of this is personal, it's all just business. And he offered a sarcastic handshake because the previous week Hangman had said, I won't shake your hand, I'm going to kick your ass, blah, blah, blah. So Punk offered him a second chance, so held out his hand, to which the Hangman showed him a bird and took off.
Hangman Page has got, again, this guy over from Japan that is news to me.
Takeshita.
Konosuke Takeshita. Did I say that? Konosuke Takeshita?
Take a what?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes. The A's out of place. Any reason to pick Takeshita on this one? Quick, Ryan? Yes, no? Nope. John Smith?
Well, if he takes a bleep on his opponent, he might get the victory, but no, I'm not going with him.
I believe the new phrase the kids are saying now, John DeConnie, is take a herd.
That would make sense. Yeah, I think it'll be a good showing, but no reason to think Hangman won't come through it with the W.
Okay, sounds good, guys. John Smith, John DeConnie, we will give you some time off backstage, just so everybody knows. We've got about 60 minutes till Cody. John Smith. That was the last minute thought of it. I think
a winner is me when you can get that reaction out of John Smith. Sorry, John.
Ryan Joy, we have
let's talk Ring of Honor for a second.
Speaking of tournaments and everything we have, John Smith's giving everybody the finger backstage right now. Best of the Super Juniors tournament. We threw up this graphic last week. Me and you both hoping for an Ace Austin Wheeler Ewart fight on here.
Yeah, lots of new names and stuff. You got Ace Austin, Alex Zane, Francesco, Akira, Wheeler Yuta, El Lindemann, a bunch of guys making not necessarily New Japan debuts, but kind of new to the scene, especially on the Japan side. And as far as the A block went, the new guys did well. Ace Austin picked up a W. Akira picked up a W. Alex Zane won. And then kind of the mainstays, your Hiromu Takahashi and Taiji Ishimori, they both, as expected, got wins. So night one of the tournament for A block, Ace Austin gets the first win in the tournament. He was the opening, not the opening contest of the night, but he was the first tournament match. And then right down the line, all the new guys won. So that's how A block has kind of proceeded. But we got a lot of time left in the tournament. The way this works is you get 2 points for a win, you get no points for a loss, and you get 1 point for a time limit draw. So lots and lots of matches left there. On the B block side, Wheeler Yuta got a loss on night one, and that surprised me. I thought he would win at least his first match, but he lost. But he lost to Robbie Eagles, who is a tremendous, tremendous wrestler. So that was fun to see. You also had El Desperado picking up a win. That made sense. Dookie winning was kind of crazy. Didn't really expect to see that happen. ELP, he comes out with 2 points. TJP gets a win over Master Watto in the first round. So that's where we are. We have each wrestler has wrestled once. Some people have 2 points. The rest all have 0. So that's where we are with Best of Super Juniors.
There's still 8 matches left for each guy. So this is probably the furthest thing from over you could possibly be.
Right.
And then also, I did notice Capital Collision.
Collision. Capital Collision happened over the weekend. The main event of the card was a 4-way match for the United States Championship. It was Tanahashi defending against Will Ospreay, John Moxley, and Juice Robinson. Juice Robinson, new member of the Bullet Club. Juice Robinson.
Yeah, I saw a picture of him with the Bullet. I mean, when the hell did that happen?
A couple of days before. So this is recent news. I believe it happened even between last week's show and this week's show. So it was sort of late last week that it happened. So Juice Robinson gets a win here. He is the new United States Championship. He pins Will Ospreay, and Will Ospreay's feet were in the ropes. So it's kind of a controversial finish here. But they've been doing that with Will Ospreay. He's lost a lot of matches like that, so they're kind of like building to something in that storyline. But this is the finish that needed to happen because otherwise you're going to pull the steam right out of Juice Robinson's big heel turn. Now, he says he is no longer the flamboyant Juice Robinson. Al, you're going to love this, and John Smith's going to love it as well. He's now rock hard Juice Robinson. Rock hard. He must have subscribed to his wife's OnlyFans. Rock hard Juice Robinson.
There you go. If there's one person that can nickname you that, that's the person's wife. That's
a couple of other things in the world of wrestling to make note of. Ring of Honor Women's Championship was on the line on AEW Dark Elevation. Mercedes Martinez defended against Trish Adora, and she retained. She once again used the guillotine for the finish there. Also, at 7:00 tonight, CCW Alive Wrestling, episode number 87, Kylan King versus Marina Tucker. Marina Tucker, who has previously been on this show.
Yes.
Steel cage match for the CCW Women's Championship took place down in Miami a few weeks ago. So that's a can't miss for tonight.
All right. Ryan, I appreciate your time and your efforts and everything, keeping us all updated with New Japan and all of the things in the independent wrestling scene.
Let me know what John Smith thinks of Rock Hard.
John Smith, you like the nickname?
I'm already rock hard.
Real quick prediction before we go. Who are the new Undisputed Tag Team Champions?
I was saying in pre-production that I think with Roman gone, I think RK Bro is the top act. So I think RK Bro has to win those titles, and they should be defending them in the main event of pay-per-views that don't have Roman on them.
All
so
right.
RK Bro.
Ryan, appreciate your time. Thank you very much. We will see you next week. Big week next week. We're making our picks for Double or Nothing. We'll see you then, pal.
Sounds good.
All right, we make the smooth transition from handsome to handsome. There you go. Gary Mehaffy, our NXT UK correspondent. Gary, top of the evening to you, Milady.
Evening. Speaking of can't miss him here, it's okay. We're okay. We're done. We must be down to what are we now? 55 minutes for Cody or 40 minutes or there? 50?
Yeah. I'm kind of planning around a 6:15, 6:30ish Cody time here. Real quick before we even get started, it was funny when we had all 5 of you guys on last week, and my mother, I guess I've told you a million times, my mother's 100% Irish. Her family's from Ireland. Is he really from Ireland? Yeah, he's from Belfast, the northern part. That's the town where, So she was having a blast, knowing that I had somebody. I know it's Northern Ireland and the Republic. There's 2 different things, but she is close enough, right?
I will take it.
Gary, 200th episode. Congratulations, NXT UK. And they hit the ball out of the park with that main event. Cheese and crackers.
They really did. It's now, when we picked it last week, obviously I picked Devlin and thought, oh yeah, Devlin will win it. But the two, they left nothing out there. They could have an entertaining match in their sleep. Like, they are the good wrestling when I am eating chips. I mean, they just know exactly what they're doing. And it's like, it was brilliant. It did turn around when Jordan hit the neck breaker on the top rope. Like, I mean, some of the moves that they hit, it was like, my word. They really did. They were just absolutely laying it in. Obviously, Jordan took the first half. We had the old false finish where Devlin hit the Devlin side suplex and thought he had the 3 count, but didn't quite happen as music played and Johnny Saint came out to save the day. But where we built up through the Torpedo Moscow at the end and Dragunov retained, which did shock me. It'll be interesting to see what to do with Devlin after this.
Well, that was my next question. What do we do with Jordan Devlin now? We just send him back overseas now? I mean, NXT the 2.0 doing okay. They could use a little Irish ace in it. You know, I guess any brand could use a little Irish ace in it. The guy's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting to see, because I've heard some rumors of, is he going to go to 2.0 or is he going to bypass it and go straight to main roster because he's already been across and stuff. I mean, it would be interesting to see as a slightly different fit if they put him. Now, Dean knows what he would change his name to, but if they put him with like Sheamus and all those guys, I mean, and put him in with them, it would be.
It'd be Luke, right?
Yeah, to go with Butch. Yeah,
if you got Butch, you need Luke, right? It don't even make sense.
And then somebody would have to come solo. No,
I think Kenny Williams has officially gone insane moving forward. I think that's an official. He's obsessed with Tiger Kiran.
It's since he shaved that beard, he's never been the same.
He hasn't. Yeah, he hasn't. It's been absolutely nuts. Ivy Nile made her NXT UK debut. She had a busy week. We'll get to her with NXT in a second. But Nina Samuels, that was never going to work well for Nina at all.
No, it was good. I think, as I said last week, I do think Ivy Niles is sort of the wrestler who needs a little bit more seasoning, a bit of time. So bringing her across against different people is good. And Nina Samuels isn't bad, so it was good to put her in. But as you say, it was only ever going to go one way. So
I'm shocked. If you look at the bottom ticker right there, 4:44. I'm actually shocked it went that long. And Ivy could have spat her up and shoot her out in about a minute 30.
About 4 minutes longer than I thought it would be. But.
Yeah, right. So Ivy Nile, like I said, I know she's new, she's young, and she's probably only temporary overseas. Do you put her against Mako? That's going to be a problem for Mako, I think, if they build Ivy Nile the way that they should.
Yeah. I think it's the sort of thing they could do, especially if she's only across here for a few weeks and they go, do you know what? She say build her up, and even if she was going to lose it, it's the sort of thing, build her up, put it against her, and it makes her, it ups her stock before she goes back across. So.
A-Kid had a meeting with Sid Scala asking for his rematch with Charlie Dempsey be contested under Heritage Cup / British Rounds rules. That will not be this Thursday, so we will talk about that next week. It'll be on May 26th episode, I guess 202, right? So we'll get to that next week. But Gary, I can tell you I'll do it for you.
Oh yes, I think I just sit and cry at the TV as that happens. I'll just like
the opening contest saw Ashton Smith, Oliver Carter. They qualified for the Triple Threat Tag Team Championship match with a win over Gallus. Joe's knee buckled, climbing the turnbuckles, and it turned into a chop block with an assisted moonsault for the win. Smith and Carter now in. Joe Coffey a little shook after the match. He disappointed himself. He's disappointing Mark. Not doing a good job as an older brother, disappointing Mark Coffey. What do you think of the match? What do you think of Joe's going to take some time off, it looks like?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the match was good. Like, with those two teams, you're always going to get a good match. I mean, Smith and Carter at first, when they started, I was like, yeah, whatever. But they're one of these ones that have won me over, and they're a really good tandem. And I would hate, although I've always waited on them to split up, I really hope they don't. I think they complement each other well.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see what happens with Joe Coffey now, whether it's going to be a wee bit of time off followed by another heel turn. I almost think it depends how long it's going to take. I've now taken a complete mental blank on what do I call him who's out injured. It's going right out of my head.
Rampage.
Yeah, that's the one. That they could really do with another sort of big main event heel, and especially if Devlin is going across, that maybe Joe Coffey's off TV for a few weeks and then comes back and can just be, because he's that good and he has that status, he could go straight into a feud with Dragunov. So.
And he's been nonstop you know, other than the pandemic, he's been nonstop. Give him a little break. It's always good to give these guys a little bit of a refresh and get them off TV for a bit to breathe a little bit. Then they come back, and then maybe there's new people there. You got new feuds going and new stories. So it's not the worst thing in the world. With that, that's one team in the triple threat match. The match that they didn't announce, I'm going to assume is happening because it was a fun mocking by Jack Stars and Dave Mastiff on De Familia. They're going to go at it maybe to determine the second team for this. Fun little dinner conversation with the two of them. Just completely mocking what Teal Man is trying to do here. So we got potentially, most likely, De Familia against Stars and Mastiff. And we've been waiting for Stars and Mastiff to... We've been waiting for both of these teams to... Not even just those two, but... We've been kind of picking both of these teams to at some point just take the next step, and now one of them is going to. So
it's like when Nathan Carter always went soon, no soon, no soon, and then it never, and then eventually it happened. Yeah, it's going to be. I think it'll end up being this week that they wrestle, and it's going to be an interesting thing what they do. I could see De Familia going over, although as much as I like Stars and Mastiff, but I do think that De Familia would be who they get behind more. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna go De Familia. It just seemed like, last week they were celebrating. Like, everything's good right now. They're gonna get a tag title opportunity, and then Charlie Dempsey's gonna take care of A-Kid, and everything's just coming up roses for De Familia. So I'll go with them for now. And then they could potentially, if you have that on the same night or the same day as A-Kid and Dempsey, you could have a very big Thursday afternoon for us, Thursday night for you for De Familia. So looking for that one. Also, another potential match wasn't booked, but this is 2 weeks in a row now that there's been an altercation. Lash Legend interrupted a backstage interview with Amelia McKenzie. Like I said, 2 weeks in a row, and I think Millie's had enough. So if this happens, now we have another NXT 2.0, just like Ivy Nile did. Millie, though, you're going to do this to Millie?
Sorry?
You're going to do this to Amelia McKenzie? You're going to make Lash Legend go over? Like, who do you... I'm kind of pulling for Amelia McKenzie not to take the L here. I mean, Lash...
I do agree with you. I could almost see maybe Shah Samuels getting involved in doing something to kind of prove how much he likes her, and then all of a sudden he does something and costs it, and something goes on there. So I could see them trying to screw her out of it that way, but...
That'd be fun. Shaw wouldn't be able to get out of his own. No, too. The two. It would probably be the two of them fighting over who gets to help her. That caused a distraction.
Yeah,
for Amelia to get the win. That would be. That'd be gold. All right, but then the one match we do know is going to happen. We got the kitty collars. It's gonna be another dog collar match. God damn it! No love for cats here. Wild Boar has been on a rampage since he's been back. Eddie Dennis is going to take the brunt of it now. Eddie Dennis is the guy that he wants. He's the one that was torturing Wild Boar towards his end of the tenure with the Hunt, who are now Symbiosis, and he was replaced by Tyson T-Bone. But Wild Boar is going to get. I don't know if Primate and T-Bone are going to be barred ringside. They should be. I don't think they would get involved. I don't think they would let them get involved. This is the payoff, so I don't know if you would have the two of them in this. But Eddie Dennis has shocked us before. He's had pay-per-view matches, takeover matches. Eddie Dennis, when the spotlight's on him, he can go. I think this match is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think it will. It was one, actually, because when it was initially announced, I was like, but the more I thought about it, it was like, do you know what? As you said, Eddie Dennis has, when he's needed to show up, it's really gone well. I think that it'll be, I'm going to pick Wild Boar. And then after the match, as he's celebrating with Mark Andrews or whatever, that you're going to have Symbiosis then reappear, and there's like a 3-on-2 beatdown. And if, I'm not sure that this is quite the time for Flash Morgan Webster to be back. I know he's on the go as well. Mm-hmm. If he's fit enough to come back, that he could then run in and even the odds, and then you get a 6-man sort of program coming out of it. So
yeah, with Subculture, Subculture. Yeah, I know. Yeah, but that was the big feud with the Hunt and Subculture was the friendship that Boar had with the two of them. So, all right, Gary, one last thing. I'll ask you the same thing. Big Tag Team Championship unification match this Friday night on SmackDown. Who do you got?
Well, I'm gonna side with Ryan. I'm going for RK Bro. I wasn't sure the whole way through, but I just think for something that wasn't meant to last, They seem to have been riding a high for an awful long time, so to speak. So I could see them taking it. So I'm going to go RK Bro.
Okay. Gary, thank you so much for joining us tonight from overseas. Again, I know we're staying up late. It's way past your bedtime. We got you on a little bit later than normal. Ryan, it's 2 segments of AEW and an indie segment. We put you on the back burner, so we apologize for that. But thank you so much again, Gary, for all your insight. And hopefully we'll be talking about Harry Smith next week on Dynamite.
Yeah, here's hoping. Hopefully your mum had another lovely night seeing me. So
yeah, I'm sure he will. Good night, Gary.
Yeah, later.
All right, so that's going to bring back in John Smith. It's going to bring back in John DeConnie. Joke's over, John Smith. No more ticker.
BS. You got something playing. I know you.
It's still, it's not going to beat the dead horse. I got 2 rises out here. I thought that was
one day you're going to actually get Cody on the show, and you're going to surprise me with it, and I'm going to just be like, no, and then I'm going to totally just tuck my tail between my legs and be like, oh, welcome to the show.
Seamless transition from overseas to stateside NXT. It was ladies' night. The women were front and center last week with the tag titles on the line, and the main event was a women's match, and then the women's breakout tournament. And it was just a good show. I feel like they shined as best they could. The main event, John Smith. A little interpromotional flavor to it as Natalia. I think she finished her tenure with NXT, main eventing against Cora Jade, who's got a rocket to her skateboard.
Yeah, and a lot of us thought that Cora was going to win this match. I don't even remember who I picked, but I was kind of surprised to see the way it ended. I mean, the match started off pretty even, but the Italian started attacking that leg. And that was the story of this match. She just kept attacking Cora's leg throughout the whole match with various things. She went for the figure 4 around the post, but didn't get it. The old Bret Hart move. Cora got a little bit of a comeback towards the end, put a sharpshooter on of her own, but then when she went to go off the second rope, she kind of slipped because of her leg, or that's the way it seemed, and ended up in a sharpshooter by Natalia. She wouldn't tap, though. She ended up passing out a la Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania 14, although she didn't have blood pouring down her face. But then at the end, afterwards, Natalia extended the hand and shook her hand and hugged her, and it kind of made it seem like, well, what was that all about?
Yeah, the code of honor, huh? Ripping off a Ring of Honor. Yeah, it was because I think Natty thought she tapped. She was celebrating. She tapped. And then when the referee was telling her no, Natty was like, okay. I guess he got my respect. It was a quick little small face turn and to put Cora over and with the crowd. And sometimes when you lose, you win. And sometimes when you win, you lose. And sometimes when you win or lose, you actually. What movie was that from? You actually tie. Sometimes when you tie, you actually win. I forget what that's from. But yeah, so Cora Jade, it's just seems, she won War Games and she's main eventing this and doing pay-per-views and women's title matches. And, she's coming up short other than War Games, but it seems like she just finds a way to come out strong in the end. So good for her. John DeConnie started the show with what we thought was just going to be a non-title match and then just a beatdown by Toxic Attraction on Perez and Cho. And it actually turned out to be a tag title match.
Yeah, it was a tag title match, and it was a good, it was a solid 10 minutes there. And
somebody's got the windows open.
Yeah, that's me. Sorry, Mandy, it's toughy in here without the windows open.
Yeah, it's okay. The beautiful sounds of Jersey.
There you go. So Mandy got involved, as you had to assume she would eventually, but Wendy Chu completely tackled her out of the ring into the floor. And unfortunately, the referee was paying more attention to what was going on the floor. So when Roxanne was setting up for Code Rock on Gigi, JC came in the other end, hits a super kick, allowed Gigi to stack up Roxanne Perez for the 1-2-3, just shy of 10 minutes. Toxic Attraction retains the women's tag titles.
Yeah, and then that wasn't the last time we saw them. Toxic Attraction then found Indy Hartwell backstage, a completely unnecessary and unprovoked proverbial kick in the bean right there on Indy Hartwell for losing her husband via the WWE Future Endeavor list. So we're seeing that. Yeah, don't keep it clean. Click the bean. So we're gonna see where that goes. So Indy got fooled on that one. Tiffany Stratton took Grayson Waller shopping after his loss, to Nathan Frazier the week prior. That was nice of her. Maybe she's not a stuck-up snotty bitch that we think she is. I thought, she was there for Grayson. Bodie Hayward, who's currently enrolled. Did you know that Bodie Hayward currently enrolled in Japanese 202 in Professor Miller's class at Chase U?
We have foreign languages?
Yeah, exactly. Even Andre Chase was a little surprised, took back by that one. But Bodie's he's putting his bid in to be valedictorian of that class. I can't wait for that. There's going to be a graduation ceremony where Bodie graduates. Like, it's going to happen at some point, and you think he's going to become like a teacher. Like, they can do so much stupid stuff with this Chase U. I am so excited for it. He was able to translate Andre Chase. What Saray was saying, that she wants to tag with Andre and make it a mixed tag with Grayson and Tiffany, since now Tiffany and Grayson are besties. So, John Smith, we got a mixed tag team match.
Yeah, Grayson and Tiffany acting like a couple of mean girls, so they kind of go well together. Chase U and Saray walking backstage, and they're wondering, is she going to wrestle in that? And she's got that schoolgirl outfit on. And then they walk through the portal, and all of a sudden, Andre Chase's shirt is blue, and Bodie's shirt is a belly shirt, and he's got pigtails. So they all went through the portal and got changed by the grandma's trinket, I guess. We saw some good combo moves by Waller and Tiffany Stratton. She actually impressed me in this one. She's starting to grow on me, and I like the shorts she wears as well. Yes. But at the end, we get we ended up with a teachable moment by Tiffany Stratton to Bodie. She says that's a teachable moment, then gets roll up by Saray for the 1, 2, 3.
Saray got your damn luck. Didn't win by Saray. With the roll up. NXT usually doesn't get these. Chocolate up for NXT finally.
Yeah.
Dead last right now. Chase U continues to shine. Really fun match. Alba Fire defeated Amari Miller with a firebomb into a swanton. So now she is official holder of the swanton bomb as a finisher. Now that Jeff Hardy is no longer in the company, Alba Fire with a re-debut win. Sol Sikola locked Carmelo and Trick out of the building before his in-ring promo. He wants the winner of the Grimes-Hayes North American title match that will be taking place at In Your House. That was the first we heard of In Your House at all, but apparently the night before Hell in a Cell, June 4th, we have an NXT pay-per-view. Premium live event.
Pay-per-view.
PLE, PPV? PLE.
It'll probably take us about 15 years to start calling it that. The way, I only stopped calling it WWF about 5 years ago.
I don't blame you.
Cameron Grimes interrupted, saying he's got Hayes in Your House. Then Sikoa will have the crack at the champ. So Sikoa acknowledged Cameron Grimes' offer and walked away. Mello and Trick then jumped Cameron Grimes in the ring. Sikoa eventually acknowledged the attack and then ran back into the ring to fight off Mello and Trick. So, a couple fun Simone things there. Ikeban Jiro returned from injury to jump Von Wagner during a backstage interview. Wagner, that son of a Beverly, threw Jiro into the crowd a la Spike Dudley and injured Jiro's ankle a couple months back. I think, John DeConnie, I know you're the bigger ECW guy here. I think the NXT crowd needs to work on their crowd surfing skills if they're going to do this bit. If they're going to redo this bit correctly. There was no crowd surfing of Ikeman Jiro. I think that they need to work on their.
No, it was a paltry attempt. Terrible.
Yep. And Ivy Nile, second time we're mentioning her. Not only did she beat Nina Samuels last week, she was embarrassing men all night long, outperforming them in a workout challenge. So this is apparently the beginning of a long-standing Ivy Nile versus Bianca Belair, who's tougher than who, eventual feud later on down the line. Writes itself. We have the women's breakout tournament. That started last week with 2 matches. Fallon Henley, she defeated Sloane Jacobs, who's only 19 years old. Wow. Again, thank God Buddy Matthews is out of the company. After a Shining Wizard, back-to-back jokes with him. I just put that one together now.
Nice.
After the Shining Wizard, wasn't the shiniest wizard. I missed Tegan. to advance in the Breakout tournament. Post-match celebration with Briggs and Jensen. Then Nikita Lyons defeated Ariana Grace with a spin kick into the split down to advance. So here are your updated graphics right there. Nikita Lyons will face Fallon Henley in the semifinals. This week, they didn't really announce it, but I'm just going to assume that the other two quarterfinal matches will be taking place. So first we'll do John Smith. We'll do Roxanne Perez, Kiana James in her four-eyed glory right there in that picture.
I'm going to go with James because the other one's getting exposure with what's her face?
Yeah,
Shoot.
Wendy Cho.
Yeah, Wendy Cho. I always forget her name.
John Connie.
You know what? I never have any idea what the hell NXT 2.0 is doing anymore. So I'm going to concur with John Smith.
All right, I'll go with Roxanne. I think we were wrong. Actually, I'll throw this match out, the second match at you first before we even get into it. Lash Legend against Tatum Paxley. I had last week. I had Tatum Paxley versus Fallon Henley final. They got to get past Lash Legend, and then whoever wins the semifinals. Fallon Henley's got a tough spot right there with Nikita Lyons. We both had Lash and Nikita kind of eliminating each other. That was not the case at all, which makes me feel like my pick with Tatum is in jeopardy right now. Unless Shaw Samuels and Noam Dar are overseas for whatever reason. But it just seems like I'm going to go with Roxanne Perez. I'll go, it's a Lash Legend. I mean, I'm going to stick with Tatum. I'll stick with my pick, but I can see Lash winning this just to keep the bigger names going forward. John DeConnie.
Yeah, I'll go with Lash here just because there's still an outside chance that, as anticlimactic as it will be, that final match could be Nikita and Lash back at it again.
Yeah, I was thinking they're going to get at it again, John Smith. And like I said, it just seems like we'll put it back up one last time. Nikita's got something going on. Fallon's got something going on with Briggs and Jensen. Roxanne's got something going on. Lash has something going on in two continents. Tatum, she was trying to join Diamond Mine for a bit, trying to get on Ivy Now's good side. They were tag partners in the Dusty Classic, which lasted 5 seconds. That didn't work out too well. But Tatum's been on TV before, so that's what kind of give her a fighting chance here.
Yeah, I got Tatum winning that one because I think Lash Legend showed us that she's still got a lot of work to do in the ring with that match she had against Nikita Lyons a couple of weeks ago. I have Nikita in the finals against whatever her name is, James. So, that's the way I'm looking at it.
Okay. Braun Breaker, it's Joe Gacy was in the ring, just spouting off whatever Joe Gacy spats off. I guess he invited Braun Breaker to join him in. Hold on, Jason Weston, we're chiming in. Finally, Roxanne Perez and Nikita. Jason Weston, same book it. And a man with a cat who has a mustache as his avatar, as his picture. That's a man you can trust right there.
Absolutely.
Braun Breaker. Any chance Braun Breaker joins Joe Gacy now that Joe Gacy has lost his help here? No, I can't see this happening.
He still got his.
If they ever did that with any angle, like the guy who's getting terrorized, just okay, yeah, you know what, you got a point. I'm on your side now.
The Creeds are still upset with Roddy for interfering in their match with the Viking Raiders. They feel it's tainted. They feel it's tainted and they want to do it again, but this time without Roddy's help. Roddy brought in Darren Kemp, so now Diamond Mine has two people overseas right now. Darren Kemp over in the UK as well. To join Diamond Mine and help the Creeds train to become tag champions, despite with Shaw Samuels and quite the resume. Despite what Shaw Samuels thinks over in the UK, quite the resume on Kemp Roddy rattled off. Maybe Shaw should reevaluate his odds. So we do have the Creed brothers and the Viking Raiders. The Viking Raiders were undefeated up until that loss in NXT. I thought that was – I don't remember them vacating the titles, but I guess they did. John DeConnie, who do you got in this one?
I I'm really twisted up about this one. I guess I'm gonna go with the Creeds here. No, I'm just kidding. Give me the Creeds here. I'm not sure quite how they get it done. If Roddy interferes again, causing a further rift with Diamond Mine, or if they just somehow win clean, which I don't really see. But it's NXT 2.0. Anything is possible.
They could win clean, but John Smith, as we found out before we came on air, I guess they announced it yesterday. We just didn't notice at that. The Creeds will challenge Pretty Deadly at In Your House for the tag team championship. So a clean win would help them. Maybe Pretty Deadly now gets involved and cost them, to further that feud and not embarrass the Viking Raiders.
I like that idea a little bit better because they already have the clean victory over. They're not clean, but they have the victory over the War Raiders. And how are you going to have the War Raiders come down just to lose twice to the Creeds and then it'd be gone? So they each get a cheap win out of it, and maybe after the Creeds beat Pretty Deadly, then we might get a third match that ends the right way,
Yep. The Viking Raiders, they respect the Creeds for granting the rematch, but Ragnarok looms. And for those of you who do not know Ragnarok, watch the movie. That movie was hysterical. It's cyclical. The destruction of Asgard. I'm gonna go with the Viking Raiders on that one. I was thinking, Pretty Deadly will go in. And then in retaliation of kidnapping AJ Galante, the week prior, Tony Beefcake beat up and kidnapped. Wait, who did he kidnap? Hold on, let me check the name change card here. Raul Mendoza. Cruz del Toro. So they beat up and kidnapped Cruz del Toro. Then in a phone conversation with Tony D and Santos about their missing cohort, Santos with the line of the night after Tony D went on a rant about messing up Santos. I don't think I've ever laughed that hard watching wrestling my entire life. Hey, Tony, you.
Bleep you.
You mother.
I can't repeat it on air. I was dying. Anyways, they're going to settle it like men tonight on NXT. We got Santos Escobar. We got Tony D'Angelo. John Smith.
I would be surprised if the bell even rings in this one. I feel like this is just going to be like the second both sides see each other, they're just going to be at each other. If the match does go down, I think it doesn't end. I think it's some sort of DQ finish on either side. I don't care which side because this is not over at all.
Yeah, I think there's a couple more scenes from an Italian restaurant coming forward, John DeCon. Maybe a bottle of red, bottle of white. It all depends upon your appetite.
Perhaps a bottle of rosé instead. This looks like it's headed for In Your House with perhaps a 3-on-3 with Stacks and Two Dimes getting involved. So I agree with some kind of no contest BS finish here.
Yeah, I'll go with that. Yeah, In Your House. This has got to go there. It's gonna be interesting to see who wins them. It's like in the Mafia War. Like who do you think wins? Like Santos has been around forever. He's established himself. It's the Don. Tony Beefcake. All right, so
is it gonna be a cement shoes match?
A sleeping with the fishes match. So we're going to go from NXT UK. We're going to switch it over to Impact. They own the night on Thursday nights. Now that football is over. There's still the Stanley Cup playoffs going on. So we start the show with Halifan and Ray Walt in the ring announcing that the main event of the show will be a gauntlet for the gold where the winner gets Josh Alexander and a championship opportunity. No, you can say it in Impact. That was a title shot. In the main event, that's Slammiversary. So the who's who of Impact were in this match. No one's got any feud going right now. Moose just got sidetracked by Sammy, so we kind of figured it wasn't going to be him. But John DeConnie, what do you think of the match, and then what do you think of the outcome?
All right, so we had Sabin and Shelley starting this off against each other for 2 minutes, followed by the cascade of all the big names there. But my winner is you moment of the week last week was Johnny Swinger being brought to the ring on a little hand truck that I believe they use bungee cords to make look like the WrestleMania 3 cart, being pushed by Zicky Dice and doing a bushwhacker the entire way down, getting in, getting eliminated in 8 seconds, and doing a bushwhacker all the way back out and back up the ramp. Because Johnny Swinger, he's our guy.
Johnny Swinger's our guy.
So we get down to a final 4 in this one of Macklin, Eric Young, Moose, and Sabin. The lights go out. As you mentioned, Sami Callihan appears. He eliminates Moose. Sabin eliminates Macklin. Now we're down to the final 2 people, and because this is Impact, they got to do things a little bit different. Now the match goes to a pinfall or submission, 1 fall to a finish. And so you get Sabin, who was there from number 1 all the way to the end against EY. Sabin gets him up for the cradle shock. EY wiggles out twice, in fact, and eventually hits the pile driver for the 1, 2, 3. And Eric Young is headed to the Slammiversary main event.
Yeah, I like that. We're circling back to EY here. I'll get to what he said later on in the night because I know they're going for the tag titles again. So, so book it right there. Josh Alexander, Eric Young, Slammiversary. John Smith, speaking of Josh Alexander, he was in a tag team match with his opponent from Under Siege, Tomohiro Ishii.
Yeah, we started off the match with El Phantasmo versus Josh Alexander and got some good chain wrestling. Then they tag in Ishii and Jay White. I mean, they just start beating the crap out of each other for a little while. This was, I would say, a pay-per-view quality match. Like they went back and forth for about 15 minutes. At the end, Jay White trips up Ishii and holds him back. Alexander trips up Phantasmo, holds him, gets involved, and then we end up with a spinning backbreaker, a short arm, one of those Creed clotheslines to a sitting Phantasmo, a couple other things, and Ishii gets the pin on Phantasmo.
The Stone Pitbull. I think he's fighting Minoru Suzuki at I think Friday night on like the New Japan on Access or whatever. I think
that just aired this past week.
Oh, was it? I love it when the two of those fight. That is just 25 minutes of just punches and forearms and just
kind of like
bastards. Those two.
Kind of like Ishii's match with Josh Alexander.
Yeah. Yep. John the Connie, just to keep with the tradition, we had a women's tag team championship match. We had one on NXT. We had one on Impact as well with the knockouts, and does a tear shed when you see the influence now without Caleb? Because I just was not.
Yeah, especially when they still have just some random stagehand backing down the ramp and taking pictures of him. Like, you had a guy for that.
Yeah.
You had a guy for that. Why don't you have that guy anymore? So, yes, I shed a tear every time they come out. But they were taking on the team of Giselle Shaw and Alicia Edwards, who have a very odd chemistry with one another. It doesn't seem like they like each other. They're trying to be besties, but they seem to kind of hate each other. And their little bit of miscommunication did cost them here, wound up knocking Giselle to the floor, leaving Alicia alone with the influence, who hit their double team maneuver, the collab. And Tennille covered her for the win. 11, a little bit over 11 minutes, and they retain the Knockouts Championship.
John Smith, I know you're off and on with Impact. Giselle Shaw, you know Giselle Shaw?
Not so much.
Okay, but Giselle Shaw, Tiffany Stratton, I feel like those are the two. At some point, once you start getting used to Giselle, I want to hear your opinion on the two of them if they had a match. They're kind of I don't say, well, Giselle's not really a daddy's girl like Tiffany is, but she's got the same egotistical arrogance to her. So,
okay,
similar characters. Impact Hall of Famer Gail Kim in ring announcing the first ever Queen of the Mountain match for Slammiversary. For those who know, the King of the Mountain was a Slammiversary staple for many years. 5 competitors. I believe it is a reverse ladder match that Jeff Jarrett won year after year after year, thus naming himself the King of the Mountain in Impact Wrestling. The participants for this year, obviously, Tasha Steelz as the Knockouts champion. It would be her title on the line. She will be defending against Deonna Purrazzo, Jordan Grace, Chelsea Green, and Mia Yim. Tasha interrupted before Yim could be announced. Seems like the feud here is actually going to be between kind of just Tasha and Mia. I feel like the other three are kind of being left out, and Chelsea was left out altogether. Hell eventually broke loose with everybody in there, leading to a 6 knockouts tag on Thursday night. It's going to be Jersey and Savannah Evans versus Mia Yim, Jordan Grace, and Taya Valkyrie is kind of inserting herself. And she's not even in the Queen of the Mountain match. Maybe she will get added. I know the magic number for that match is usually 5. Right. But I guess, I don't know if Chelsea's arm is still, or hand, it's always broken, right, John McConney?
Yeah, exactly. She is the female Bob Orton. Give me Jersey in this one just because why not? It's not for necessarily anything anyway. So how do you go against the 2 Jersey girls teaming up together?
Exactly. John Smith?
Like this. This is how. I picked the other team.
Good enough.
All right, we have a match, ongoing feud with Honor No More and the Bullet Club as the OGK.
Sex.
The original Kingdom going up against the Good Brothers. John Smith?
Gotta go with my boy Sex.
John DeConnie?
I don't see the Good Brothers. They've been, Carl Anderson's taking pins and whatnot. Give me the Good Brothers here.
Exactly. Carl Anderson just stopped making him eat pins. He's full. He's not hungry anymore. He's not. Just get a magic killer in on one of them, and that'll do it. Speaking of Honor No More, Kenny King qualified for the Ultimate X match at Slammiversary for the X Division Championship. Kenny King he defeated Chris Bay after the Royal Flush. We have another Ultimate X qualifier. Laredo Kid and Mike Bailey, I guess not as high profile as Kenny King and Chris Bay. Absolutely amazing match between King and Bay. Kind of wanted not to have a loser in that match. I wanted both of them in the Ultimate X. Maybe they got something for Chris Bay and the Bullet Club that they need him elsewhere on the card. But Speedball Mike Bailey, John DeConnie, and Laredo Kid.
Yeah, I gotta think Bailey's headed towards that X title at some point, so I'm gonna put him at least in the Ultimate X here. But it's like leaving Ray Phoenix out of a ladder match. Like you don't want Laredo Kid in that Ultimate X match too? Come on. But give me Bailey here if I gotta choose.
John Smith, you can say the same thing about leaving the Miz out of a ladder match. Who do you got? Mike Bailey, Laredo Kid. John Smith.
Give me Mike Bailey.
Yeah, he kind of came out of nowhere on that one Impact Plus special, and he's been kind of cleaning house ever since. So it's kind of funny. I never heard of him on the Indies or anything. He just kind of left field. As I mentioned earlier, when I was mentioning Eric Young, he did Violent by Design. They did a video package. Eric Young claims that Violent by Design will claim the power and control because the world belongs to them. It starts this Thursday. As Violent by Design, Eric Young's going to send Diener and Doring to get the tag team titles back from the Briscoes. John Smith, you with them boys?
Yeah, the Briscoes aren't going to lose him yet, especially not on TV.
Yeah, it's just amazing just how ugly Mark Briscoe. Anyway, John DeConnie, the missing team.
Yeah, I just want to say that
scary guy.
The highlight of our hiatus was you and I going back and forth on a text chain about you were updating the website. You had to put the Briscoes on the website, and you're like, "Yeah, I know it's Jade. Who's the Briscoe? Who's the other Briscoe brother? The dumb looking one." And I really wanted to reply back. You're gonna need to give me more information there, but I couldn't because that was enough. It was clear. I knew exactly what you were talking about. Give me the Briscoes retaining here.
Okay, let's see what Jason Weston. No need to repeat this. Figured you may be interested. Dead Meat CH channel. Doing music videos called AEW Talent like Jade. Okay. Okay. There you go.
There's some horror movies. Okay.
Shout out if you want to watch AEW wrestlers talk about horror movies, there you go.
Word.
Or you can just watch Danhausen every Wednesday, get beat in 5 seconds. Put a curse on you. Okay, so that will do it for Impact Wrestling as they are on their way to Slammiversary. Should be a fun ride. It always is with Impact. About last night. Last night got very interesting very quickly. Let's get rid of this. There was a 6-pack challenge dropped down to 2 in a hurry, turning into a one-on-one matchup with Becky Lynch and Asuka, with the winner to get a Raw Women's Championship match at Hell in a Cell. Rumor, speculation, everything running rampant. Apparently, Sasha Banks and Naomi, from what WWE says, put the release by WWE, they gave the belt to John Laurinaitis and went home. And then the joke is who's driving Jimmy Uso home, and I guess that's neither here nor there. It's just funny to me. John DeConnie, I guess we went 2 people left. They still left 4, but they took the other 2 out of it, so we just got a one-on-one. So we'll just leave it at that, I guess. Let the rumors go where they are with Sasha Banks and Naomi and Nikki and Doudrop, and we had 2 bitter rivals going at it for a crack at the champ.
Yes, indeed, and that was your main event of the evening. It was Asuka and Becky Lynch, and of course Bianca had to come down and get her entrance and twirl her hair around and sit down by the announce desk. Thank God she didn't put on a headset so we didn't have to hear her speak. But, you knew that was going to lead to some issues, and eventually it did when, while on the outside, Asuka and Becky were grappling a little bit, and Becky tossed Asuka right into Bianca, knocked her out of her chair, then rolled Asuka back in, and just for good measure went over and kind of put the boots to Becky to Bianca while she was still on the ground. This would bring Bianca up on the ring apron, which would get the referee's attention. During this time, Becky went over to the corner where Asuka puts all her regalia when she gets to the ring. She grabs her umbrella, or I don't know, parasol, I think it's French. I don't know what it's called if you're Japanese. But she grabbed the umbrella and was about to take a nice big swing at Asuka. Asuka hit her with the green mist, and then a roundhouse kick to the head and a 1-2-3, and moving on to the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view for a Raw Women's Championship opportunity, Asuka.
Question for John Smith. I don't know if you saw Asuka again. When you use the green mist, I always think it's Tajiri. Tajiri always hit it, even after the match. He always hit it. Well, Asuka really didn't hide it after the match, but for the 3 count, she actually sat on Becky's face to cover the green mist. John Smith, your thoughts on that?
Yes, she did. And also, she's got the green makeup on all the time, so it could just be her makeup running. That's why she wears the green makeup.
No, that's naturally good thought. Yeah, Tajiri should have worn green makeup. All right. I promised I wasn't going to do a joke. I was going to do a ticker of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's Cody time. Cody in-ring promo, learned from his loss and it made him better. Rollins needs to learn that. Cody offered a 3rd match inside Hell in a Cell. Rollins showed up on the Titantron and accepted. That was the countdown to Cody.
Yay.
Well, that's a must miss.
There you go. John DeConnie, we started off. There was one match promoted from last week to Steel Cage. Omos, Bobby Lashley. Cage is supposed to keep people out. Didn't do its job very well.
As it kind of never does it? Yeah, so we started the night with MVP and Omos in the ring, and the MVP got to blah, blah, blah a little bit. Then Lashley made his walk down the aisle, only to be jumped by Cedric the Entertainer in the aisleway. And Omos made his way out of the cage to join the beatdown in the aisle, went to commercial. We came back. They're finally ready to start it. Now we got the 2 big men being very violent to one another, as one might expect. We had Lashley almost climb out of the cage, only now Cedric made his way back down and kind of met him at the top. Lashley kind of went away from, I don't even want to climb out. What I want to do is grab Cedric by his head and yank him in. I didn't even see Cedric leave the cage, but I imagine he just rolled towards the door. But at some point in time, he was in the cage. Then
he never left.
He never, I wasn't
he never
sure.
got out. No, he was there. He was laying there the whole time, the rest of the way.
It was a hell of a bump, so I don't blame him. But
yeah.
And then Omos started ragdolling Bobby around, putting him on his shoulder and ramming him into the cage. And then he eventually hit the magic section of the cage that was gimmicked so that it busted open, a la Brock and the Big Show and 18 other times before. Section of the cage gave way. Bobby rolled out. All he had to do was put his feet, step off of the fencing, put his feet on the ground. Ding, ding, ding. He wins. This is probably not over, but your winner for one night, Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, it's kind of a satisfying win. I'm sure, if that's how knowing Lashley's character, I kind of feel he would have just climbed back in, but that's how it was supposed to end, and that's the way it was scripted, which is fine. John DeConnie, I'm going to ask you this question from Jason West and John Smith. We know your answer. John DeConnie, hearing you mention Cody, do you like him so far in WWE or his return, or do you like him better in AEW?
I like him pretty much the same. I'm just getting, I guess, a little extra enjoyment out of the fact that the crowd is so behind him that it's going to make it that much more entertaining when they tire of him and immediately turn on him, like they know is coming. So,
and that's what happened in AEW. That's there goes WWE ripping off AEW again. There you go. AJ Styles. Yeah, I was giving you the opportunity to hold up your sign, and I guess
it's too far away.
Gotcha.
I would have to get up and go around.
Yeah, okay. AJ Styles and Finn Balor approached Liv Morgan backstage before the show started to form a unit against the Judgment Day. She'll let them know. Liv looked a little smitten. I know that look. Liv's a Jersey girl. All Jersey girls are pretty much the same. I know that look. Not that I've gotten any of them, but I know the look. Fast forward, we got a promo by the Judgment Day. Apparently, I guess long story short, if you want to just sum up with the Judgment Day, they're hiring. They're taking applications. It doesn't sound like they're turning anybody away. So if you want in, they'll take you. That's all we saw. The Judgment Day, actually, with the Liv Morgan promo, Los Lotharios also tried to form a unit with Liv. I don't think that was the unit, whatever that Liv wanted to be in. But so they had a tag team match. Because that's what WWE does. They have a small altercation in the back, and then they throw them in the ring. John Smith.
Yeah, so Liv gets to feel important by being alongside the best wrestler in the freaking world, AJ Styles, and Finn Balor also, I guess. And, they're fighting the Los Lotharios, who get a kiss from some random chick in the crowd yet again. I don't understand why they do that still. They don't get any...
no. I can tell you right now they're going to do it because there's going to be 1 week, and I just mark this down now. It's going to be Cheryl Roberts, and then it's just going to be hell all over again.
Who? Oh, then they'll wear her face on their tights.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Yeah.
When Angel rips his, the
when Angel rips the thing, it's going to be Cheryl Roberts on his.
That's great. Yeah, this match didn't go too long. It was probably only about 8 minutes or so. But they isolated AJ Styles for a little while, but then Finn Balor got the hot tag, bunch of big moves. You know how they do it. And then AJ Styles with the phenomenal forearm to Angel, coup de grace on the other Angel Garza. Or no, they're both Humberto Carrillo.
They're both Umbertos, yeah.
Yeah, they're both
Humberto Garza and Humberto Carrillo.
All right, so now they're both Angel Garzas, okay?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Theory was originally scheduled to defend the U.S. title against Mustafa Ali. It didn't like the official of the match, the referee, so we got The Miz as the referee, but he also didn't like that Mustafa Ali lost last week and now he's getting a title match. So using Vinnie Mac 101, he said Ali had to fight Veer Mahan, send Veer, to prove that his championship material. Veer Mahan got the win after getting on Ali's back, and wrenching his back. wrenching back on Ali's cervix to the point where Ali had to tap. Yeah, apparently his cervix was in pain. After the post-match celebratory selfies, Veer went and put Ali through the announce table, but that was thwarted by the returning Mysterios. John Smith, call it now, PWI Feud of the Year, Veer Mahaan versus the Mysterios.
Say what you want. I love Veer Mahaan. I think he's good. I just think they're doing him dirty with this with the gimmick he's got, wearing that skirt.
Cervical clutch. John Smith, again, right up your alley. The DNA test the Alpha Academy sent out to their guy at the DNA lab came back contaminated
with barbecue sauce. And Kevin Owens specifically remembers he was eating ribs. That Otis was eating ribs that day, and it's all his fault. So now
Otis blames somebody.
Yeah, now Gable wants to go try to look at his family tree, and Kevin Owens is just fed up with the whole thing.
Ancestry.com.
Yeah, so we get Ezekiel versus Chad Gable, and this was more about Kevin Owens on commentary than anything. Him just telling everybody how he knows that this is Elias in the ring, and then sure, we get some good wrestling for a couple minutes, but it ends up with what do we get? A raw roll up from Ezekiel on Chad Gable. He reversed him for a 3 count and then snuck right out of there as Kevin Owens was trying to rush into the ring.
Alexa Bliss again defeated Sonya Deville. Alexa Bliss, new music for the second week in a row. She went back to old music. Now I guess she's got new music. I guess that maybe her husband sings. She defeated Sonya Deville after a closed right fist, which is illegal in WWE. So strike one right there, followed by the DDT. Sonya had the pin earlier, but the ref was distracted by fixing the turnbuckle. Something happened to the turnbuckle, whatever reason that was. I don't remember. So Sonya gave him 5 fingers across the face.
Flat.
That's gonna have some. That's gonna be reprimanded. Sonya, even as an official, Sonya couldn't do that, and now she's pissed. Hell hath no fury, like a Jersey girl scorned. R-Truth, this was absolutely hysterical. Finally served to Zawa, which was amazing. Broke the poor guy's heart. Now the Truth wants the 24/7 title back, and he's going to have some help going forward with his former tag team partner and mixed match challenge champion, Carmella, his former partner, who Dana accidentally bumped into and had some words with. So now you got Dana and Carmella, and you got Truth trying to get the title back. So that could be some fun. Truth tried to do a dance, the dance break. Carmella wanted nothing to do with it. So, and then Lacey Evans in an in-ring promo thanking our armed forces for all the sacrifices they make for this great country. I will reiterate that. Thank you very much. I just won't spend 15 minutes doing it.
Oh, this is terrible. This new gimmick of hers. Oh my god.
And I know this is SpongeBobable, but has anybody else also read that after all this, bring her back, the hard times, and hey, I'm in the military, and hey, big shout out to the military, they're going to make her a heel when she finally gets back in the ring?
No.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Normally I really don't notice the crowd reaction. That was not that was a pop when they heard music hit and she hit the entranceway, and that was not the crowd. So I think they're going to force it. Maybe, I don't know. Well, because they were thinking when they said last week, put some respect on my name or something like that. She used some type of heelish phrase, like respect me for what I've done. It was a weird phrasing, and they stayed away from it last night. So maybe, I don't know.
Put some respect on my name.
That's it. Get your wife's name out my bleeping mouth. And then that brings us to our main event and Friday Night SmackDown. Ronda Rousey, we'll start with her first. John Smith. Ronda Rousey did an in-ring promo, gave props to Charlotte by saying it took a broken arm for Charlotte to say I quit. Ronda wants to be a fighting champion, as is tradition. I don't know if you guys remember this at all. She brought it up at one point in time, and if you look back through the history of the Chronicles of Raw, when she was Raw Women's Champion, she did it. After every pay-per-view, she defended the title the next night on Raw. So she won the title on Sunday. This is the first show since WrestleMania Backlash Part 2, Electric Boogaloo, whatever it was called. John Smith, Ronda Rousey threw out an open challenge like she always does, and this time it was Raquel. Let me just check the name change.
It's Raquel Rodriguez.
Yeah, Rodriguez. Yeah.
Yeah, they make a real point to roll those R's when they say her name. It's pretty aggravating. But did not expect to see her be the one coming out.
Before you even say that, imagine, oh my God, if she was in AEW and Justin Roberts, oh my God, like he kills those R's too, worse than anybody. With Ray Phoenix and what he did with Rey Mysterio, he would. Oh my God, thank God she's not in AEW. I'm sorry, John Smith.
Yeah, so she held her own for a good 10 minutes. We got a commercial break out of it. I thought this was going to be a quicker match than that. She really showed what she could do, and she went for a power bomb at the end, and Ronda turned it into an armbar in midair, rolled her onto her back, and then hooked the leg, and we get another roll up.
Ronda Rousey joining in on the fun. Good work. Seriously, with the roll up, but this is the only way you could do this without doing Raquel dirty right off the bat. If she would give up or tap to a submission or whatever, that I don't want to say that's buriable, but oh my God, you're killing her. Right,
she'd have to get choked out, Yeah.
So Ronda Rousey title defense number 1. Shotzi and Aaliyah, they got into it backstage, saying they both were on a way to accept Ronda's challenge. Shotzi actually locked Aaliyah in the locker room, so that was funny. Aaliyah couldn't get out there. But then Shotzi got shoved out of the way by Raquel. So it sounds like we have a match brewing between Aaliyah and Shotzi. SmackDown's Forgotten Female Superstars, or I guess NXT's Forgotten Female Superstars, whatever. But, it's something for them. I hope they shine. I hope they get a chance to shine here. There we go. Got to give props to John for the R roll because I'm Spanish and my R rolls aren't exist.
I dated a Brazilian girl for a while.
Oh, there you go. Brazilian, right?
Brazilian.
Down the county, I guess with the tradition, we had an NXT Women's Tag Team Championship match with a Knockouts Tag Team Championship match. There's only 3 of them in the world. So potentially, I guess who the hell knows what's going on after last night, but we had a tag title match on SmackDown.
Indeed, we did. Our champs, Sasha and Naomi, took on Shayna and Natalya, and they went for about 8.5 minutes here. It was some good back and forth, as you would expect from these 4 pros. Natty went for sharpshooter, and then Naomi, I guess, lingered just a little too long. Naomi grabbed her head, pulled her in for a small package, and cha-ching, raw roll-up for the 1, 2, 3. And a retention by Sasha and Naomi in what may be the last time we see them together and or with those belts.
Yep. Madcap Moss gloating over his roll-up victory. He said the roll-up victory at the pay-per-view over Happy Corbin. In an in-ring interview, eventually got jumped by Corbin and then pummeled with a chair. Then Corbin put him his head in the chair. Then they'll stomp out whatever. But he used the Andre trophy to slam the chair to do something, I guess, to his collarbone. So
it's a 100-pound trophy.
It is.
Instead of using his 250-pound self, he used the 100-pound trophy.
But the thing is, he the big trophy that Madcap Moss won and loves was what hurt him. What Madcap Moss is learning here, that irony is also funny. Irony can be pretty ironic sometimes.
Joke, joke, joke.
Dude, they put that at the beginning of his music. First time I heard that, I was dying. That joke works. I got a pop from that. I was at a soccer game and I broke that out for my 8-year-old niece. Butch defeated Kofi Kingston after the numbers game, caught up to the New Day 3-on-2, and Butch hit the bitter end. Gulak backstage looking for advice to get out of his funk as of late, turned to the Intercontinental Champion. Ricochet, who said he can relate and not to give up. That inspired Gulak, who then wanted to put Gunther in his place. And from what happened the week prior, then he found Gunther, and Gunther, that might have been up there from Jack Stars. I'm looking on Twitter on Gulak's to see if he had the handprint like Jack Stars had. I haven't seen it yet, but that had to have left some type of deep bruise and mark. God,
remember the slap he gave Duke Hudson like 4 weeks ago on NXT? The one that got the holy bleep chant?
Yeah,
I would have loved to have seen his chest after that. I didn't. I looked for it. I couldn't find it.
But here's the main event of our show today, of everything that'll happen Friday night. As promised, RK Bro showed up to SmackDown and started the show with an in-ring promo, called out Roman Reigns to get their tag title unification match with the Usos. They got Sammy instead. Since Sammy is the shot caller on SmackDown, Randy asked Sammy to make a match between Sammy and Riddle. And if Riddle wins, the tag title match unification is on. For whatever reason, Sammy agreed. But Sammy wanted to delay it. Postman Pierce said, nope, we're going to do it now. Riddle got the win after Bro Derek. Nice to see Bro Derek back in action. Sammy then backstage with Paul Heyman, making sure Roman isn't mad at him. You know, the locker room leader and the head of the table should be on the same page. You know, I can't remember the word that Sammy used. Like something to do with a circle. It was a big word, being with a C. Heyman simply put that Roman appreciates Sammy, so that was done and done. Then they got an in-ring promo with the Bloodline. Roman said the Usos have a decision to make about RKO. So on cue, here comes Randy and Riddle, challenging the Usos face-to-face this time. The Usos accepted, and Riddle decided to hit a jumping knee on Roman Reigns while Roman was posing with the belts. That did not make the head of the table happy. That borderline probably does say that pissed him off. Last night on Raw, Jimmy Uso was in one-on-one action with Riddle. Riddle got the win with a traditional Raw roll-up immediately after the referee ejected Jay from ringside because they were trying to do that double team Raw roll-up that they made famous. So we had it. Finally, it was supposed to be a Backlash. It's going to be this Friday on SmackDown. We have two champions here. There will only be one. Ryan Joy has selected RK Bro. Gary Mehaffy has selected RK Bro. John Smith, who do you select?
It's the Bloodline. The Bloodline's got to hold all the belts. I'm going with them. I'm going with the Usos.
All right, John DeConnie.
Yeah, this is one of those cases of I'll believe it when I see it, or I won't believe it until I see it. The bloodline is rolling. The whole story for 2 years has been the bloodline. I gotta see it. I gotta say that at least for a little while, the bloodline will be draped in all the gold or silver as it is. But give me the Usos here.
I agree with Ryan to a point that RKO is probably one of the best things going right now in WWE. So I could see them holding both titles. But Riddle, that jumping knee, Roman's not going to allow this to happen. Roman is not going to allow the Usos to lose that match. I have the Usos as well.
And if Roman's going to be taking some time off, then the Usos can run the show with their belts. And they can go grab the Intercontinental and the U.S. while they're at it, too.
That'd be fun. Yeah, that'd be fun. So that is where we will end things right now. Let's go to the leaderboard. We actually we got hit hard with the Raw roll-ups towards the end of the show. A lot on SmackDown, a lot on Raw. Let's go with the summary here. Sorry about your damn luck, Tiffany Stratton. We mentioned that earlier. Jeff Hardy in the Owen Hart tournament. He rolled up Darby Allin after Darby hit the coffin drop and Jeff Hardy hit the crucifix. Ronda Rousey and Naomi both with the Raw roll-ups in their title defenses on SmackDown. Riddle got Jimmy Uso on Raw along with Ezekiel. On Chad Gable, we'll get to Chad Gable in a second. So this is where we are right now. AEW was tied with Raw going into last night, and Raw says, oh, no. No. Not on their watch, right? Not on their watch. SmackDown with 2. Impact didn't have any this week. NXT, like I said, they finally saw Ray, got them on the board. It's been a long time since we've had an NXT Raw roll-up. The UK, as a 1-hour show, is beating out NXT 2.0 right now. With that, here are our individual leaders. And like I've been mentioning, there's a SmackDown's got a hidden gem. He didn't have him this week because he didn't compete, but Xavier Woods came out a while ago. Yes, it's official. I've officially added a new finishing maneuver to my repertoire. The small package is no more. The era of the backwoods has begun. Everybody about to get rolled up. Xavier Woods with the fighting words. Let me get the SmackDown. With fighting words coming out, and he right now is the league leader in wins. Xavier Woods has 4 roll-ups. Rey Mysterio, Chad Gable, both with 3. Chad Gable ate a roll-up last night. That was only his first loss with it. So Gable's been on the positive side with it. Then we have 11 guys tied with 2. On the losses end, The Miz, he's been Joey vulnerable right now. He's been rolled up 4 times so far this year. And then there's a whole train wreck with 2 losses right there. So that is where we are with that. Any comments or predictions with the Royal roll-ups, John DeConnie?
No, just that, when you break it down per hour, we love to bust balls on the Raw roll-up, but it really is the SmackDown roll-up, isn't it?
It's going to be. It's going to be. If Xavier Woods has his way, he will have John Smith.
I think we might need to call it the Dynamite roll-up.
They're trying. They were guilty. I think one week they had like 3 to 4.
Should Woods's count if it's his finisher? Because
the
whole point of the roll-up is the fact that you're winning with you're doing something that you wouldn't normally do to win a match. This is his finisher.
Yeah.
So would the perfect be a Raw roll-up?
The funny thing is the Raw roll-up, you're really out wrestling your opponent. It is an actual. I feel like it's
a wrestling.
Yeah, like you out like Jeff Hardy. He out wrestled Darby Allin. He took a move and then he pinned his shoulders down for 3. With I don't know. I just think it's. But in the wrestling world, in the professional wrestling world, if you don't hit your finisher, then then it's not a.
It's just so entertaining.
It is. I say John and Donnie and I have been having a lot of fun with it. But so we're gonna the music's hitting. We're gonna get to the promotions real quick. Then we're gonna get out of here. The Primetime Rundown. Primetime Rundown's regular season programming has concluded and will resume its second summer schedule, which begins Monday, June 6th at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Join Jody Jarzenka, Ian Schreier, and Mike Szabo as they bring you the wide world of sports on Monday nights in the thick of the summer, right here on the Eastern Observer. Real quick, I know we've had the football pool going against the Primetime Rundown guys. John Smith, Ryan Joy, not really big hockey guys. Gary, I tried to tell him it's soccer on ice, and he's like, what the hell is soccer? And so I didn't want to explain it to him. John DeConnie has been banned from the competition because of he won the football pool so dominating. But we do have an NHL Bracket Challenge. I'm involved. There's 7 people in it. I don't know 2 of them. But look at what we have here. Look at what we have over here. A couple of haters. Tyler Adele. Tyler Adele throwing up 85 points after the first round that ended Sunday night. This weekend, there was 5 Game 7s. It was so much fun to be a hockey fan this weekend. Joe Jarzenka and Mike Szabo both was tied with 79. I got 76. Drewski Doodle's down there in the bottom. He's the Sunday sauce guy. We got a Sunday sauce sandwich here. Tyler on top and Drew on the bottom. But what a great weekend of hockey. We got rid of Marchand. We got rid of the Capitals. We got rid of Crosby and Malkin. It was just perfect. Now may the best team win. I have the Colorado Avalanche defeating the New York Rangers in my Stanley Cup final. I think me and Szabo got the Avalanche. I think Tyler's got the Florida Panthers. Joey's got the Blues. And Drewski Doodle, he's going to be a homer. He picked the Rangers. So we'll see where this goes. We'll keep you updated after the second round of action. Round 2 starts tonight. I'm not sure what teams are playing. But looking forward to a fun night of hockey tonight.
Let's
the
go,
Black Cats NYC, the official band of the Eastern Observer, get their album Free Cake right now on all of these music providers: YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, Pandora. Anywhere that you get your music, you can get the Black Hats NYC's album. Out now, play it loud. John Smith, God bless you.
Thank you.
As always, the Essential Wrestling Podcast is sponsored by Pro Wrestling Pick'em, the internet leader in sports entertainment pick'em pools. Join us in the Essential Wrestling Podcast public pool to play against us or create a private pool with you and your friends. ProWrestlingPick'em.com. Play against your friends, play against your universe, and guys, she will like it too. Join us back here next week for the Essential Wrestling Podcast, episode 102. Not exactly what Bodie Hayward would take in Professor Miller's class. That is Japanese 202. We are on EWP 102, hoping one day to have Professor Miller join us on the show. Maybe we can try to get it. I just think it's funny how someone with such an American last name like Miller is teaching Japanese. John Smith, anything before we get out of here?
No.
All right, John DeConnie.
Likewise. Fun show as always.
All right, Alexa Bliss, glad to have you back. We love you. Larry Steve, forever in our hearts. John DeConnie, take us home.
Thanks for joining us, and as always, we wish you the best in all your future endeavors.
I got nothing this week. I got nothing this week, sorry.
The winner is you.
Yeah, right? If it wasn't for Andre the Giant's crotch over Ryan's shoulder, I didn't have anything in the beginning either. Like, that was such a last minute